Hello, everyone. Welcome to Teachings and Education. Today's presentation is going to be 21st century learning and life skills. So let me pop this open, make this a little bit bigger here. And this is your teacher's guide presentation. And before I start, here's a brief overview. I think it's about a 4-minute video on 21st century life skills. I'll provide the link above. And this presentation I'm going to do here is going to get in much more in depth than this. This is kind of like a brief overview right here. So let's take a look. So first off, the Partnership for 21st Century Learning, and that's the current framework that I'm using. You can click a link here, and this is going to provide you to their website. They have a ton of information here, okay, and you can just Google this yourself. So many of so all credit goes to Partnership for 21st Century Learning, and I'll put the link below too as well. So let's take a look here. So why 21st century learning skills? Why are they important? Well, first off, 21st century skills are essential for everyday living, and these are the skills that are going to help students become successful later in life. Okay, when we talk about 21st century skills, obviously you think about technology and how far we've gone, but more than that too, we're because of technology, we're able to sort of interact and meet people, and we're connected to people, much more people today than we were in the past. So you're going to also have to learn how to, students are also going to have to learn how to work with others, because technology has globally connected us. Whereas, I can, get on I could do a Google Meet right now with somebody from China and things like that. So there's so many skills that we're going to get to. But overall, it's to help students become successful later on in their lives. So the importance, right? Schools have a responsibility to nurture their young students into functioning 21st century citizens. 21st century learning focuses on the necessary skills for daily living. These skills are necessary for life, work, and citizenship. Citizenship is also a topic that we're going to get to as well. Um, and it's important that everybody does their part for society. You know what I mean? We're all a citizen here. Everybody, we hate paying taxes, but we have to. It's worth it to get this world going. We hate doing it. I hate doing it, but we're citizens here. We all have to contribute to society because we all benefit from society. Um, we do like to pay as little taxes as possible. All right. Anyway, so understand that life outside of school is nothing like the classroom environment. These children spend every day sitting around in a classroom, and what is do they ever have a job where they're just going to sit in a classroom? No. So we have to understand that, and we have to prepare them for what life's going to be like outside. So uh, teaching these 21st century skills to students will help them become successful later on in career, family, and a learning setting. Now, the term 21st century skills is generally used to refer to certain core competencies such as collaboration, digital literacy, critical thinking, and problem solving that advocates beliefs that schools need to teach to help students thrive in today's world. And that's a quote from Elizabeth Rich. I may have copied that a little bit wrong. Here's another quote. There are many ways to define 21st century skills. 21st century learning means that students master content while producing, synthesizing, and evaluating information from a wide variety of subjects and sources with an understanding of and respect for diverse cultures. Okay, so here are two different definitions. Credit to these two individuals. So the P21 Framework for Learning. Okay, so P21 offers a framework that puts the spotlight on various goals and learning objectives for educators to incorporate into their curriculum. These goals and objectives are presented as student outcomes with 4 different components. So let's take a look at the 4 different components. The 4 components of student outcome. One is content knowledge and 21st century themes, learning and innovation skills, information media and technology skills, life and career skills. Content knowledge and 21st century themes. Recognition of 21st century themes with key subjects. Okay, and we're going to go over those subjects. Students must master the core disciplines to graduate. That's the first thing, right? So we're taking a look here. Here's our four, and we're on the first one: content knowledge. And within content knowledge, there's cross-cutting themes between different subjects, right? We think geography, government, math, science, reading, writing. These are your core subjects here. Those are the disciplines. So most school curriculum will have students learning subjects such as math, science, world geography, civics, reading, writing, etc., etc. Rightfully, students must master the core disciplines to graduate high school. So we get that. Okay, students have to master this. I'm not saying no. These core disciplines with their inherent subjects, for example, math's inherent subject would be algebra, geometry, etc., will help give students a well-rounded understanding of how the world operates. Students must learn at a high level by recognizing and understanding the 21st century themes within these subjects. So within all of these subjects, there's 21st century themes that you can find. The 21st century themes that cross with key subjects include environmental literacy. That's in understanding the dangers that may be present to our environment and caused by human action. Global awareness, being able to communicate across the world. Health literacy, taking responsibility for your own personal health. Entrepreneurship, the creation of value based off of existing resources. And it includes economics, business, civics themes. So these are the themes, these themes that cross key subjects. So here's a couple right here. So that was the first one, right? We did content knowledge and 21st century themes. Now we're going to go to learning and innovation skills. All right, so what are some learning and innovation skills? The 4 C's here: creativity, communication, collaboration, critical thinking skills. We're learning and we're innovating. So now, so here we go. These are the 4 C's: creativity, collaboration, communication, critical thinking. And creativity is the use of imagination for the production of work. Okay, educators can help students come up with innovative ideas and then have students put those ideas into action. Communication, that's the exchange of information. You're communicating. Teach students to articulate their thoughts effectively using oral and written communication strategies. Okay, many students struggle with communication. Part of it's going to be going through the pandemic, and some students are shy, and I think communication takes a long time to sort of develop. Collaboration too is something else students sort of struggle with. You put students in teams, and there's always a couple students that just don't work together, right? So collaboration is working together towards a positive goal, working with somebody. Have your students practice soft skills and working efficiently with diverse teams. Okay, and the key word there is diverse teams. You don't want it to always be the same groups of students. Critical thinking, that's being able to analyze and evaluate evidence as well as use deductive reasoning throughout life. Okay, this is a big one here. There's a short video I have here as well. The video to the right provides many different ideas on how critical thinking can be applied in the classroom. So the third one now, information media and technology skills. Keep students up to date with all the rapid changes in technology. Okay, students need to be able to access all the available information. Information, media, and tech skills. Okay, all right, this is the third one here. So more information is available today than at any other time in history. Students need to be able to access all of the information available to them. And there's a lot of information out there. Even though students may be adept in social media, other students should have an understanding of media messaging and how to create media products. Although it may be irritating, teachers still need to keep students up to date with the rapid changes in technology. Technology is always being updated. You always got to keep learning. So you got to keep students up to date with the changes. Now, by graduating high school, students should be able to use digital technologies as a communication and networking tools, along with having an understanding about the dangers of technology. So allow students to use technology that they have on them today, phones, laptops, etc., to manage information in a beneficial way. Some students, some teachers feel, oh, students should never use the phone, should never use the phone. Yeah, it can be used, and they should never take pictures and things like that. But I think back, whenever a student forgets a calculator or something like that, they ask me if they can use their phone calculator. I'm saying, yeah, you can use the phone calculator. And in math class, if you turn it sideways, then it becomes a scientific calculator. I think it's important that they know that. When they go to college, or things like that, maybe they don't have a calculator on them. I remember during the pandemic, laptops weren't working, so it was an issue, and students, had to use their phone to log into Google Classroom. There was an app for Google Classroom. Even me, I remember I had an internet problem. I'd have to use my phone to sometimes communicate. And this was all during the pandemic, when we were social distancing. We weren't in the classroom. We were doing all virtual learning. Students can so remember, students can participate in the flow of information using their technology. So, life and career skills, initiative and self-direction, social and cross. So there's a bunch here. When students enter the workforce, they must be both flexible and able to adapt to changes. So we're talking about life and career skills. Everybody knows once you go to a job, you're going to be given a million different things to do, and you have to adapt. And so we want to be able to prepare them. And we'll talk about here leadership, response, all this stuff. So I'm going to get to it soon. So there are many careers out there for today's youth. Okay, the question is whether or not they're prepared for those jobs, right? Jobs are out there. Are they ready for them? When students enter the workforce, they got to be flexible and they got to adapt to changes. As adults, we know how important it is to adapt to a new and challenging situation. Young adults, on the other hand, they lack the wisdom that comes from years of life experience. Teaching through a growth mindset will help students make changes in their behavior and academics that can lead to success. So here's a video on growth mindset, and growth mindset is really about grit and a perseverance, and it's about teaching students that intelligence, the ability to succeed academically isn't really fixed. You can work at it, and you'll get better, and you'll perform better in the classroom. So again, we're in life and career skills. So growth mindset attitudes are being taught in many schools, and that's great. Other life and career skills include having initiative, self-direction, social and cross-cultural skills, having productivity and accountability, leadership, and lastly, responsibility. So, the next topic is support systems. So, how do we support students, in 21st century life skills? So, before we talked about the 4 components, life and career. Now we're going to talk about supporting them. You can support them through its learning environments, professional development. That's for us. Assessment standards and curriculum. So, 21st century learning aims to bring support systems to the forefront of a child's education. These support systems are put in place to help students acquire these 21st century life skills needed for achievement beyond K-12 grade schools. Okay, so these support systems are necessary. The 5 elements of support systems. We got standards, assessments, learning environments, curriculum, and PD, professional development. So we're talking about support systems. So 21st century standards should emphasize understanding and depth of knowledge. So as a teacher, when I talk about the standards, there are career readiness standards, at different at the state level. I think different states have different standards, but they're out there and they should be incorporated into your lesson planning. So again, right, teachers have to have an understanding of these standards, and then use them in building lessons, and let me just read this one more time. So, a 21st century standard should emphasize understanding and depth of knowledge. Just like when teaching any standard, right? So, if you're talking about career readiness standards, you want to go for depth of knowledge while building relationships and understanding across various academic subjects and themes. And what I mean here, while building relations, these standards can, cross between different subjects and things like that, whether it be math, science. Assessments. This includes the big 3, formative, summative, and diagnostic assessments. When you're teaching these standards, these career readiness standards, assess your students' formative assessment in the classroom. Are you getting this, guys? Give me a thumbs up. Diagnostic assessments. You want to get maybe before teaching, see what they know already. And summative, like a full evaluation. Tests and evaluations by teachers should provide relevant and meaningful feedback to all students. Here's just a couple of videos on assessments. Curriculum and instruction. So teach 21st century skills in the context of key subjects and core disciplines. Then teachers must find ways for students to apply these 21st century lessons in the classroom. Learning environments. Teachers should create real world type learning environments for students. They can do this through project based learning and cooperative learning experiences. So, we mentioned curriculum and instruction. You have to actually teach them. And then, you want to create the right environment. And I love project based learning. And cooperative learning, again, that goes to one of the four components, which was, soft skills and cooperation. Professional development for teachers should be directed on professional development for teachers should be directed on the various ways teachers can integrate these 21st century skills into the classroom and on ways to reach diverse groups of learners. So the PD should be centered around integrating 21st century skills and using these skills to teach to diverse groups. And here's just a broad overview of a previous video here on 21st century life skills. It's a short video. And I just want to say thank you guys. Stay, I hope to see you next week. And I'll keep these workshops going.